Imagine this for a moment. A piece of malware quietly enters a computer system. No alarms go off, no files are stolen, no ransom note appears. Instead, machines in a nuclear facility begin to destroy themselves, and the engineers watching the control screens see nothing wrong at all. Sounds like something out of a spy movie, right? But this actually happened, and it changed the world of cybersecurity forever. Welcome to Bluehat Cybersec Academy. Today, we're diving into one of the most fascinating and dangerous cyber weapons ever discovered, Stuxnet. Even more interesting, the lessons from this attack are more relevant today than ever before. So the real question is, could something like Stuxnet happen again in today's connected world? Let's find out. Back in June 2010, cybersecurity researchers discovered something unusual spreading across computer systems. At first glance, it looked like just another piece of malware. But the deeper analysts looked, the stranger it became. This malware wasn't stealing banking credentials, it wasn't encrypting files, and it wasn't spying on personal users. Instead, it was searching for something very specific. It was looking for industrial control systems, more specifically, systems known as SCADA, which stands for Supervisory Control and Data Acquisition. These systems are responsible for monitoring and controlling large-scale industrial processes. For example, SCADA systems are used in power plants, oil and gas pipelines, manufacturing plants, water treatment facilities, and even nuclear installations. Instead of attacking normal computers, this malware was designed to interact with the machines controlling physical industrial processes. That alone made it completely different from any malware seen before. Now here's something interesting to think about. Most malware is designed to steal information, but Stuxnet had a very different mission. It wanted to break machines in the real world. As investigators continued analyzing the malware, they discovered something even more alarming. Stuxnet had been built to target a specific nuclear facility, the Natanz nuclear facility in Iran. This facility was responsible for enriching uranium using extremely delicate machines called centrifuges. These centrifuges spin at incredibly high speeds in order to separate uranium isotopes used in nuclear fuel production. Because they spin so fast, even small changes in their speed can damage them. And this is exactly where Stuxnet became incredibly clever. Instead of immediately shutting down the machines, the malware secretly manipulated the rotation speed of the centrifuges. Sometimes it forced them to spin too fast. Other times it slowed them down too much. This constant fluctuation slowly damaged the equipment over time. But here's the truly shocking part. While all of this sabotage was happening, Stuxnet was also sending fake operational data back to the monitoring systems. So engineers sitting in the control room saw nothing unusual. Everything appeared perfectly normal. By the time the issue was discovered, many centrifuges had already been destroyed. Experts believe the attack damaged around 20% of Iran's centrifuges, significantly delaying its nuclear program. Although no country officially admitted responsibility, many analysts believe the operation was conducted by United States and Israel as part of a covert cyber campaign. Just pause for a moment and think about that. A line of code, quietly damaging a nuclear facility. No missiles, no explosions, just software. What made Stuxnet even more remarkable was the way it operated behind the scenes. The malware used several advanced techniques that were extremely rare at the time. One of the most surprising aspects was its use of multiple zero-day vulnerabilities. In fact, Stuxnet exploited 4 different zero-day flaws in Windows. A zero-day vulnerability is a security weakness that software developers don't even know about yet. Because there's no patch available, attackers can exploit the vulnerability before anyone has a chance to fix it. Using multiple zero days made Stuxnet incredibly powerful and very difficult to detect. Another fascinating detail is how the malware managed to reach its target. The nuclear facility it was attacking wasn't even connected to the internet. This type of isolated network is known as an air-gapped system, and it's usually considered one of the most secure setups possible. So how did the malware get inside? Most experts believe Stuxnet spread through infected USB drives. Once an infected USB device was plugged into a computer inside the facility, the malware quietly installed itself and began spreading across the internal network. Sometimes the biggest vulnerability in cybersecurity isn't technology, it's human behavior. Once inside the system, Stuxnet started searching for a very specific piece of industrial software called Siemens Step7. This software is used to control industrial machines through programmable logic controllers, also known as PLCs. If the software wasn't present, Stuxnet would remain mostly inactive. But once it detected the right environment, it began manipulating the PLCs controlling the centrifuges. And that's when the sabotage truly began. Perhaps the most impressive part of Stuxnet was its ability to stay hidden. While it was actively damaging equipment, it simultaneously sent fake data back to the monitoring systems. So from the engineer's perspective, the system appeared to be functioning perfectly. Imagine trying to troubleshoot a machine where the monitoring system itself is lying to you. This deception allowed the malware to operate quietly for months. Before Stuxnet, most cyber attacks focused on things like stealing information, committing financial fraud, defacing websites, or sending spam. Stuxnet changed that understanding completely. For the first time, the world saw clear evidence that malicious code could cause physical destruction in the real world. This meant cyber attacks were no longer just digital threats. They had become strategic weapons. And from that moment forward, cybersecurity became directly connected to national security. In fact, many experts consider Stuxnet to be the beginning of modern state-sponsored cyber warfare. After the attack became public, governments around the world began investing heavily in offensive cyber capabilities. Today, some of the most advanced cyber powers are believed to include the United States, China, Russia, Israel, North Korea, and Iran. Cyber warfare is now considered a critical component of global military strategy. In many ways, Stuxnet showed the world that future wars might not always begin with tanks or fighter jets. Sometimes they might begin with a piece of code. Now, let's bring this discussion to the present. Could something like Stuxnet happen again today? The honest answer is yes, and it could potentially be even more dangerous. Modern infrastructure is becoming increasingly connected through technologies such as cloud platforms, industrial IoT devices, smart monitoring systems, and remote management networks. This connectivity improves efficiency, but it also creates new cybersecurity risks. Critical infrastructure that could become targets includes national power grids, oil and gas pipelines, transportation networks, satellite systems, water treatment facilities, and nuclear power plants. A successful cyber attack against any of these systems could have serious real-world consequences. So when we look back at Stuxnet today, it's clear that it was far more than just another piece of malware. It was the moment when cyber attacks crossed into a completely new territory. Software was no longer just capable of stealing data. It was capable of changing the physical world. And as our infrastructure becomes more connected, understanding attacks like Stuxnet becomes more important than ever, because the next major conflict might not begin on a battlefield. It might begin inside a network. Before you leave, here's a quick challenge for you. Think about these 3 questions. What type of systems did Stuxnet specifically target? How did the malware manage to enter an air-gapped network? And why was Stuxnet able to remain undetected for so long? Pause the video and see if you can answer them. Drop your answers in the comments. Let's see how many future cybersecurity experts we have watching. And if you enjoy breaking down real-world cyber attacks like this, and want to understand the techniques behind them, make sure to like the video, share it with someone learning cybersecurity, and subscribe to Bluehat Cybersec Academy, because understanding attacks like Stuxnet today might help you prevent the next one tomorrow.